Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another KJ show. Isn't this fun, guys?
Yes, it is.
Huh?
Yeah, it
So
is.
great.
This is great. Yeah, oh, Kevin's all excited. And so ain't I. And we got Jeff. Let's say hi, Jeff. Jeff is in the room. Jeff
Hi,
Bradford
Jeff.
goes by DJ I believe. Uh,
Usually.
yeah, something like that. But we've got a good topic. In fact, we've got a bunch of little topics we're going to talk about tonight. Um, First up, uh, well, we missed last week. We apologize due to the holiday, and we all decided to spend time with our families, and now we regret it. But now we're
Yeah.
here. We're back. What is the karaoke version that you choose? You know, there are many makers out there for karaoke. If the singer don't specify which one they want.
Oh, okay.
So now it's up to you to give them what you believe is the best version for this person. Start with you, Dennis.
I like Sound Choice.
Yep.
I know Sound Choice, and then I like Legend.
Mhm.
Those are my two.
Nice. Matt?
I would say probably my top five, and in no particular order, really, because it depends on the song. But
Mm.
DK, Sound Choice, Chartbuster, Legends, and I would say probably, well, you know what, Zoom or Karaoke version are at the near the top there too. So
All right.
KV,
Jeff, how about
that
you, man?
I typically use sound choice.
Yeah.
It's been the most
Well,
consistent in my library.
right, but you're right. Sound choice was always like the go-to, always sounded just like the original record or whatever track, you know? They always did a great job. Now, for the last how many years, sound choices, they're done,
So
you
they
know?
pretty much dropped off the planet.
So you
Yeah.
know who I believe took sound choices place is KB, karaoke version. And that they are as good, if not better, than Sound Choice ever was.
Really?
You know,
Mhm.
they really are right there. And believe it or not, Zoom, back in the day, Zoom was my last choice always, way back. You know, I did not like them. Um, thank God they're not a sponsor, but it's, but I'm being honest. But for the last 5, 6 years, Zoom has came a long way,
Yes.
and they've really stepped up their game. And honestly, I would go to Zoom now instead of a sound choice if that were my,
Okay.
because they really stepped up their game. But I've got to say, my number one favorite today is karaoke version, KB.
Yep.
Okay.
Um, if you and they're not a sponsor yet, but we're working on it. It's karaokeversion.com. Check them out. Check out the live, and you can listen to samples right on their website.
Mhm.
And they've
And
got a
they'll-
huge library, and they're actually digging right now to go back and starting from the 50s, working their way up.
Are
And
they?
they've got a huge library right now. If you just check out their site, type in anything in search, and
yeah, there's
you'll
also
see
a
what I
thing.
mean.
There's also a thing on there where I think when you buy 20 songs, and I think they're about like 2.99 a piece, I think.
And you get
But
one
if you buy
free.
20 songs, you get a free one.
Yeah. I wish, I really wish they had a, you know how we used to all subscribe to like Sound Choice, Sunfly, and every month we would get the latest and greatest, right?
Mhm.
I wish karaoke version would do this.
Yeah.
I would definitely subscribe to their monthly new stuff because I wouldn't you, Matt? I mean,
I absolutely.
yeah,
I've always said, that there should be a karaoke site that's like, you know,
A record pool.
kind of like a record pool,
Yeah.
yeah, where you
Right, right.
pay like a flat rate a month, and then whatever comes out that month, you get it.
All the others did that. They all did it. Sound Choice, Sunfly. You would pay this amount every month, and then they give you a download link, and bang, they're yours, and
Yep.
it's legal, But TV, you know how much money they could make if they did that?
All right.
And I've written them several occasions, just asking, like, well, why don't you offer a monthly subscription? Maybe they're making way more than $2.99 a song. I don't know. That could be their, what they're thinking. But anyway, Kevin, you've been doing some karaoke for the last, I don't know, what, 6 months?
Yeah, a little bit since
Yeah.
last.
Now, in your karaoke shows,
Mhm.
have you noticed a difference between this version and that version? And I'll give you one last question. I'm going to let you go. Has anybody specified a version that they wanted?
Specified a version? No.
No?
I really haven't even had anybody specifically ask for it in a certain key.
Really?
So, we're backcountry people. We just sing to sing. We don't know anything else. We're just here for a good time and some alcohol.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Um,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
as far as versions, yes, I've noticed some have more of a backing lyrics.
Mhm.
When I'm listening to it, I find it distracting. So if I was singing it, I would sort of get, to me, off put by that. I
Like
have
the
used,
harmonizing vocals in the background.
yeah, that
Right,
one is,
yeah.
and if there was a way to know that ahead of time, and I guess that's one of those things where it's sort of like, oh, dang, that version does that. Okay, got to remember that. Mental note. But I don't know
I do
whether it's-
notice that there are times where those background vocals will throw a singer off, and they start singing
delayed.
the song like the harmonizing vocals are.
Oh,
You know,
right.
they don't sing it the way they should. They sing.
Yeah.
They're singing like the background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's silly though. But if I have a choice with background vocals or without background vocals, that doesn't mean now for the people viewing this on YouTube right now, KJ's, that doesn't mean they're singing with you. That just means like the chorus part of the song,
Right.
Yep.
where
but that's the part that everybody knows the best. So I don't really see that you really need that because the chorus is the hook. That's the one that
But
everybody knows.
But a lot of
It
songs
makes
have a
you
chorus built
sound-
in.
right, it makes you sound better
Yeah.
if you have that chorus behind you. That's my
Certain
belief.
songs, yes.
They got me, man.
Yeah.
What more do you need? I can be that chorus man.
You're the chorus guy.
But
Like buy
it's nice
down.
to have a harmonizing vocal behind you to
Right.
enhance.
Yeah, as long as you're all in the same
I
key.
don't need enhancements. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Said
Hey.
no one
Why,
ever.
it's K Dog.
I have
No,
a guy
but
that specifically asked me for Pioneer. That's all he wants to sing is Pioneer.
Yeah, those big laser disc, Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Wow.
Mm.
Does he
He's
bring
old.
his own in?
he's old school.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know what else is old school is what is that? Something Georgia, Sound Georgia.
Sweet Georgia Brown?
Sweet Georgia Brown.
Sweet Georgia Brown, yes.
yeah,
I get
my uncle-
requests for that.
My uncle has
Yeah.
old stuff like that. So if I go
But-
to his place, he's got all the discs. So
And you know what? They were actually very close to Sound Choice too. When you actually listen to the track,
Yeah.
Sweet Georgia Brown, and Pioneer, like Matt just said, they were very good. And you know why? They were the only game in town back then. And then you had Zoom, and then you had Sunfly. Way back when Sunfly, I hated them. I'm sorry. The old Sunfly tracks, I try to steer away as much as I could from those. Like, and then they started getting better as the year, just like anybody else. It's like, you get better as time goes on,
Yep.
and they did. Buy Down Karaoke is the one that offers the
By downloads.com.
yeah, Buy Down Karaoke, and they offer that's 93. I got a fire truck or an ambulance or whatever going by. I don't know if you heard that. But we Buy Down Karaoke. It's a great source for karaoke tracks. I'm not going to knock them, and they're good. But they will offer you, and this is your purchase. If you say, I want Willie Nelson always on my mind, well, I'm just giving you an example. It'll say with background vocal or without background vocal, which means do you want the chorus
Or not.
with this or not? And I always get the one with the chorus because I believe that helps the singer and it sounds better when you get the chorus in the background. Now, who was it that said that messes singers up? Was it you, Matt, or Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin? You both
No, it
said
was me.
that.
It was me because I don't know. I guess they get off offline. They're hearing that and they're reading the words, and they just sometimes they'll just almost like come to a screeching halt.
They're hearing the background vocals as like training wheels
Yeah,
for like the way that they should sing it. But in reality, it's a harmonizing vocal that's supposed to back up them as the lead
Enhance
vocal.
them. It's supposed to enhance them.
Yeah.
instead they sort of try to get to their level.
Yeah.
So if anything, I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's to me, it seems like it's more of a distraction. I haven't had anybody want it one way or the other, but that's just my observation. And I've used all the ones you've mentioned. I've found some that are weaker, sound like someone made it with their Fisher Price toys.
And there are many of those out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, going to shy away from that. But the thing is, and as you has mentioned, oh, so and so has come a long way. Well, the point is, how do you know what ones have come a long way that you want to incorporate them, and what's the date? I mean, you sort of need to know
That's a good point, Kevin.
where it transitioned from crud to good, and then another one that maybe was good sort of turned to poo. So you know which one to jump to. I mean, it'd be nice if you could say, and what Eric's saying, I think, is that karaoke version, everything they put out is a gem. So at least for right now, it sounds like those would be the ones you'd want to go with if you can, and build your library around that company. And the other ones you'll sort of want to pick a decade or a year, bracketed amount and grab from that one. So to make it easy, it'd be great if you could just go to one. They're great. I'm going to grab all theirs. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, allow me to elaborate on that just a little bit. When you're saying, give me a decade or a year when they started getting better, I don't have a year to give you. However, I will say, for like today's newer music that's coming out, we'll start there. The newer stuff that's coming out today, Zoom, karaoke version. And I'm not talking about Chantilly Lace by Big Bopper.
Yeah.
For that, I would go DK all the way, like the oldies. If anybody's asking for an oldies song, 50s, 60s, even 70s,
Yeah.
I would go DK. After
Definitely.
70s, I would go Sound Choice.
Mm-hmm.
Today's music, this era, it would be Zoom, which is ZM, when you're scrolling looking for it. I would go BKD, which is or is
By
it
Karaoke
B?
downloads.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I would go definitely Karaoke Version KB. That would be my first choice for today's stuff. And I've got, I mean, there are so many out there. And really, you know what? There really aren't that many out there now, today, going forward.
Right.
It's getting scarce, you know? So
Okay.
KB's, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kevin. Go.
You're talking about ones that are great and how they've moved and everything. Is there any? I mean, sort of the flip side. Is there any? It's like, don't get them. Don't.
Well,
Get them.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know that you want to. I mean, we're not trying to throw someone under the bus, but it's like they just don't sound good. Stay away from them if you're starting out. Is there anything that you
well,
would say?
none of these makers view the show. And if they do, maybe if they do view it on YouTube, maybe they can step up their game. But we're all being honest here. We're KJs. We're all using
Looking for the best.
right. So we're
And
not
these are our
stepping on
opinions, our
toes.
opinions
Yeah.
only. So
Right. Right. And don't, yeah, you're right, Dennis. Good point. It's just our opinions.
Our
And
thoughts.
we're not trying to make or break any company out there. But all we're trying to say is these are the versions that we prefer to use. Put out.
And the differences between them and whatnot. Like there are
Right.
some versions like some brands like Sweet Georgia Brown, they record their songs at a higher volume for some reason. I've noticed that, like go to play a Sweet Georgia Brown song and I got to back off the
Gain.
gain on the main on the music volume because it's louder than like a sound choice track or
That's another great point, Matt.
Louder is
Because
better. Nope.
while we're talking about different versions, every maker records them higher, a different level. So you're constantly, now you're not just on that mixing board to control their voices if there's a
Control the
duet
song,
or whatever. Now you're controlling the music too.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
look, we're not trying to knock any maker because there are, like Legend is not one of my favorites. However, I have a song, and I'm not even going to bring it up, but there is one song that only Legend put out. So that's my obvious. It has to be my go-to. And we'll talk about it after the show because I don't want to open this can of worms. But Legend is not my favorite. I've said that, but it is when it comes to the Doors. Any Doors track, they are spot on.
okay.
Just so you know, I mean, if somebody wants "Touch Me" or whatever by the Doors, try OG, and I think you're going to be impressed. The longer you guys out there in YouTube world are doing this, and the more time you have to just take an afternoon at home, open your laptop and just listen to some of these different versions that you own, and you'll find, you'll hear it. You'll hear it when, yeah, you're going to hear the difference, and you will then know, okay, I prefer this version. And make a note, write it down. I want LG for this, and you're going to get it.
It'd be nice, if there was a way to mark it on the song. Like I know some of the musical things, they have like stars or whatever, and you could say, oh, that's a 5-star. Oh, that's a 1-star, or just, I guess, delete it. Now, the thing is, I'm fairly new at doing it. So every time I do it, I'm always analyzing it first to find out what the beats per minute are. And then even there, I can have like 3 or 4 different ones, and the beats per minute can be different numbers. So then it's like, well, which one do I choose? Are they probably expecting a slower one? Especially if they're not sure themselves, I would go with probably a slower beats per minute than another one. Or I go with the majority. I have like a bunch of different copies. I'll analyze each one. It's like, okay, most of them were like 93. There was an outlier that was 101. Okay, that one's probably the outlier. I want to go with the ones that are 93. So I pick from one of those. It's for me, because I'm sort of new at it, It's sort of a feeling around process still.
Let me. I'm going to throw this out there. When you brought up beats per minute, and that's more of that's a term for DJs in a nightclub or just DJs. We're always concerned about BPM, correct?
Yeah.
Karaoke, not so much. However,
Well,
if you look, hold on, let me finish. I'm sorry. But when you're looking at BPM and karaoke or anything, there are no two going to be the same thing. Because you and I, Kevin, can do our own BPM, right? Like I could
yeah, you can
count
speed
it.
it up or slow it down.
No. I could label any song what BPM is going to be on my own. I'll count by twos up to 30 seconds and then times it by two, and there it is. That's the BPM. No two of us are going to be the same because it depends on how you actually count the beat per minute. So you're going to see variances.
Yeah. Well,
with the
I picked a
BPM.
song at one of the venues, and she goes, "That's too fast or too slow." I don't know, it was whatever. And it's like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me try the other one." So I had to switch to the other one. She goes, "Yeah, that's right." So there was a sped up version or a slower version, and I happened to grab, the wrong one. So it's one of those things where I'm always trying to figure out, okay, I've figured out certain ones seem to be better, so I tend to lean towards those if I got three or four choices. But
That comes with experience, Kevin. That's going to come with.
I look at that as a disadvantage when you're because you guys you're speaking from the point of view of using virtual DJ for running your shows. With CompuHost, you have the ability to speed up or slow down. There's a tempo knob.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
We could do that with
We can do
virtual
it
as
too.
You can do that
well.
with virtual DJ.
Oh,
too.
you can do that too? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I usually leave it where it's set because I figure it's supposed to be right. But then when I do three or four of the same song, they're not all basically uniform. I mean, they can be like one off. But when they're like, 8, 10, it's like some of them are like doubled. So I assume that's because of the way they're exactly doubled. And I figured, oh, that doesn't matter anything. It's just the way they've analyzed it.
It was the way it was counted, right?
Yeah. They just, if it's an exact doubling of the other one, it's like, okay, they're basically the same. So, but it's one of those things where, like I said, like Dennis said, over time you sort of figure out the right and the wrong ones. The other thing I do, if I have a whole bunch of copies of the same thing, but I've already had someone sing one of them before, then it's like, okay, I only did one. That one probably was the right one, so I don't analyze the other ones. And I just use the one that I've already analyzed that one time. And it's sort of, that's the way I also will sort of pick the one that I think is the gem.
You know what's aggravating to me is when you're searching for a certain karaoke song. And I like you just said, Kevin, I analyze them all when they're in there. And I do it purposely because we're going to get a bad track here and there, with all our files.
Yeah.
So when I'm searching, I will look at the times. Now, if I get 6 that are 3 minutes and 41 seconds, I know this one's good.
Mm-hmm.
When you come across that 407, 4 minute and 7 second one, something's wrong there. There's got to be something wrong. There's got to be a bad track, and I'll make a note to myself.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because you don't want to throw the wrong song up because it's going to happen, and it's happened to me. I know what's happened to Matt. I know what's happened to Dennis. It happened to John. It's happened to everybody in this room. Because you're in a rush, you throw it up there thinking this is good. You press play, and all of a sudden, What a Wonderful World is now Jesse's Girl by,
I've had that happen.
Yeah, Rick Springfield. And it's embarrassing on our part. And we're like, oh, my bad. Now you
Yeah.
struggle. This is why I'll look for the actual times because they're all about right. Even if it's 308, 309, 307, those are all good because it's the tag in the front of it.
Yeah.
Sounds
Sometimes the
really
songs
good.
will get tagged wrong.
Yep.
Yes.
I've fixed-
You go to play like Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond or something like that, and it comes up Delta Dawn or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Or Kevin's
So
song, I Am Woman. Hear me roar. All right. Speaking of Kevin, we had enough about this topic, I think. I think we covered
I
all
think
the
we
grounds.
have.
we didn't really hear from Jeff though. Jeff
Well,
just kind of sitting in the wings
I was
there.
taking it in. That was some good insight.
Jeff, let me explain something about Jeff. Jeff is my boss, you know,
Yeah, right.
and no, I'm kidding. He did karaoke shows, but a few of them right here and there. He filled in for me, and I don't know if it wasn't his bag or what. Well, we started the conversation. What happened, Jeff?
What's that?
With you,
As
with
far as what happened?
yeah, karaoke.
It's too competitive around here. I couldn't get my foot in the door in a lot of places.
There you go. See,
I was
this is what I
basically
wanted.
feeding off you the whole time.
Yeah, see, this is what I wanted to get at. Like his area was like it is.
Saturated.
Very saturated.
Yes, that's a good word, Kevin.
You get a couple-
Saturated.
You get a fly-by-night
Word of the day.
operation. It's hard to compete with them.
Yeah.
Where they're looking for price over quality.
Right. Everybody undercuts you.
Yep. I got undercut
But-
quite a bit in a few places I bid on.
Yeah.
But if I still need anybody in the future, Jeff is one of my go-to guys, and he will gladly load his truck up and go and do it. But Kevin had a good thing about cables tonight before we started recording. Kevin, do you want to get into that before we hit the end button here?
Sure. I'm at a new location, and the cables I bought were basically I got them mainly for DJing, hooking up XLRs up to my speakers and mixer. They weren't the highest end, but I hadn't had any failures. Well, this new venue, I don't know what exactly is going on, but I've now had 3 failures in these 2 weeks. I went to use them for DJing events, and one was like I thought it was a speaker at first, but had to do some switching around and pulled the other cable to that, and it cleared up. So it's like, well, it's not the speaker, so it's got to be the cable, and it was sort of like sending like just noise, intermittently through like almost like Morse code. Well, not exactly Morse, but that kind of a situation. So it's like, man, this is going to get pricey after a while. I'm giving them 20 feet of room to maneuver. This place, they have some couches they can sort of go further back from up by the monitor and sit and sing if they want to. They don't tend to, but for some reason, like I said, I'm starting to have some cable issues, so I'm looking to invest in, or your thoughts, invest in some high quality lifetime warranty cables. And do they actually honor it? Or do I buy, I think Eric said something about he bought a product from Phoenix that's a more basic wireless. I wanted to shy away from the wireless. So I guess sort of your thoughts on that.
I'll start. If you don't want to go wireless and you want an XLR cable, go with live wire.
Live wire. Yes.
Wire.
Yes.
That's the
And those are lifetime guarantee. You could go into any guitar center and say, here, this cable don't work anymore. You're going to walk out with a brand new one and not pay a dime.
Okay.
Live wire is the top of the line XLR. Matt, you got anything?
Those are good. But I also think that nlfx, Ben Stowe, he's got a
Absolutely.
platinum series. And I think he does the same thing where it's like you just buy, you buy the first one and then
You're never buying another one.
you'll never buy another one. He'll just like, they get replaced if something happens.
The only difference between the Ben Stowe one with and I love them. I have a set of those.
Mhm.
And the I don't even know if I should say it. Well, they're not a sponsor, right? So I'm just gonna say it. And the live wire is if we all have gigs several nights a week, you know, and if one cable goes bad on me tonight,
You're
tomorrow
not
I
going to
can
wait
go to
you're not going to
Guitar
wait for
Center.
nlfx to send
I
you
don't have to wait to have that shipped. Tomorrow night's gig, I could go in
you can
and
run
have
it
it.
Guitar
Right.
Center and get a
So
cable.
Okay.
that's
Yep.
right.
Makes sense.
Dennis, what do you got on
I
this
I
cable?
agree with you on the live wire. Yeah, they were excellent, and like you said, you could go to Guitar Center and get another one. You
Okay.
didn't have to worry about it. And your sound is only as good as your cables, man. You gotta have good cables. You gotta that way you don't get the humming, you don't get
Yeah.
and your power cords. You gotta have good power cords too, so you don't make sure you're grounded. Make sure you're not getting the humming and all that. Make sure.
And no disrespect to Ben Stoll because this guy is a brain
Yeah.
when it comes to equipment, sound,
Yeah.
cable.
They've got these other cables. They've got these other cables that are I think they call them like
Oh,
what
the
is it?
combo cable, where it's
They're
the
like a combo
it's the
combo cable
XLR,
where it's
the
like a
power.
power cable and an XLR all combined.
Right,
into
it's in
one.
a little snake, right,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Sleeve.
Yeah,
Sleeve.
those are nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a sleeve.
Yeah. A little on the spendy side, but I've heard that they're worth every penny. So
Jeff, you got anything to add to this?
I used to make my own for the longest time.
Oh.
My
A
own
little
XLR
solder
cable.
gun and
Yeah, the solder and the plugs and everything. But then I went over to Livewire just exactly for that reason.
yeah.
Is if I had a short one that shorted out, I could just run over to Guitar Center, which is like 10 minutes from here,
Yeah.
get a new one.
Kevin, do you have a guitar center nearby? Or?
That's the
Seriously.
problem. Yeah, if I go an hour,
Guitar Center.
it's
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
drive.
It still beats waiting 3-4 days to get it in the mail or ship.
I did, and like I said, I was considering, but I didn't really. I wanted to control their movement. I mean, there's going to be some control just because I only have a monitor where I set up. It's not like I'm tied into their system, and this place doesn't even have, I don't think, TVs everywhere. So they can't go too far. So, and I didn't want wireless because then they'll just wander off with the mic and I got to go lasso it back, So I wanted to keep it economical because like I said, I was just starting out and I didn't want the place that I was doing initially was not super committed. So I didn't want to invest a lot. But, if this is going to be a reoccurring thing, I was going to look into a basic wireless system. But do I get the same level of sound that they're going to be singing versus a economical priced wired mic?
That depends on you and how you control your board. And
wouldn't you run into latency issues with wireless?
Because of the karaoke?
No.
Well, I'm just wondering if there would be
Eric,
like a little bit of a delay.
Aren't you using wireless now?
You know what? Yes.
Latency would be in
using,
milliseconds anyway.
You would never hear it
No.
with a wireless mic
No,
if there
you
was
never,
any
never.
latency.
Never noticeable. No.
Okay.
No, it's I use both, by the way. I used wired and wireless. I have that. I showed you guys in an earlier show that with the old looking 50s mic.
Oh,
That's wired,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I'll use one wireless because I have this one patron who's like, I hate that you got me tied down now. So, all right, but because he likes to run around the room and
Yeah.
whatever, let him have at it. He
Yeah,
comes
let him
every
do the
week, spends
I got
money,
one of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone likes
social butterfly. He's
Yep.
fluttering all around the room.
I mean, this one's a woman, and she likes to go around and kind of, rub on the guys, and yeah, like I'm
Throw out
on
her
a
business
big
card.
boy kind of thing.
Oh, hold on, man. What's the address to that
Name.
place? Hold on. Where is this place again, Matt? I'm planning a road trip anyway, so.
Yeah.
You hold out the dollar bill and she comes over.
I always make a disclaimer before she sings
Not
any
part of
song.
mine.
I'm like, guys, attention, all guys out there. If she happens to rub up on you or stroke your head, run her fingers through your hair, or give you a phone number or anything to that effect, I'm not responsible.
Well,
So enjoy her performance at your own risk.
Oh God! On that note, let's wrap it up, guys.
before we wrap,
Yeah.
Before we get in
they are
trouble.
sponsors.
Oh, sponsors, yes.
No, and we are going to. And I was
Okay,
going
all
to
right.
call upon Kevin. Now, if you
No,
enjoy,
not me.
all right, whatever.
That's too much pressure. I'll give you Electro Voice. I'll give you
Pro X,
Pro X.
DJ, event planner.
There you go.
And-
Ask the DJ or something. What was it? Ask the DJ.
Madebydjs.com.
Made
by
yeah.
DJ. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay. There goes that sponsor.
Odyssey.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hey, don't ask me.
Odyssey.
All right.
I don't tell.
Odyssey. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed tonight's show,
Hit the like button.
Yes.
check out these sponsors.
No, you're not.
And if you didn't, if you didn't enjoy tonight's show, they had nothing to do with what we said.
Yeah.
Because this show is unrehearsed,
It's unscripted,
unwritten, and unnecessary.
unconventional.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know what? YouTubers out there watching right now, subscribe to DJNTV News. Subscribe. Hit the like button.
Like, share.
Took the words right
your
out of my
TV
mouth.
down. Yes. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.
Smash it.
And
Smash it.
Hit it. Just hit it.
DJNTV News. Yeah.
Hit the button.
Would you just hit it, will you? Hit it.
Come on, tickle that
Hit it
button.
already.
Tickle that button.
DJNTV News is not just about this. If you're just stumbling upon us, they also do a DJ show and a bunch of DJs from all around the world. Check them out. DJNTV News / chill, right? Is that what it is? DJNTVnews.com/chill.
Yeah.
And they do that Monday and Tuesday nights. Check them out. You'll find John Cawley in there, Brian Red, Jay. You have a blast just watching these guys.
Will Eric be in there too?
I may
Maybe.
pop in there once in a while. You never know. But anyway, until next week, take care, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.
So